Hola queridos estudiantes, welcome back to another lesson. Today we are continuing our review of Spanish 1 in preparation for more in-depth lessons in Spanish 2. By the end of this lesson you should be refreshed and working again with I, there are. You should be refreshed with talking about your classes, the verb estar, estar, and talking about where things are. For example, the computer's on top of the desk. Okay, so here we go. Without any further time, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with this word. I. I is an interesting word in Spanish. It comes from a verb called haber. Haber is one we're going to be using later on to talk about things that used to be, like there were some books, there was an explosion, stuff like that. For right now, we're just sticking with the present tense. I want you guys to remember that I means there is or there are. Hay 30 estudiantes en mi clase. Hay un libro en mi mochila y no es mi libro. Hay dos perros en el jardín. Hay 3 chicas en mi clase. Whatever. There is, there are, I. So let's make sure we know that one. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll use that in some of our examples here. Okay. Next thing I want to remind you of is the verb estar. Now, in our last lesson, we talked about the verb ser. Ser being to be. But I told you that ser is to be like a part of your characteristic, a part of who you are, what you are. The verb estar is used to talk about a state or condition or location. Now, teachers out there will throw out other lists and say, well, he forgot to mention occupation, for said. He forgot to mention the moods, and no, I'm just keeping it general, keeping it basic. So generally, estar is used for a state, condition, location. And for me, it's easy to remember because you know how Spanish speakers have a hard time with that S at the beginning of the word. Like they might say, I don't speak English, whatever. They want to throw on that E at the beginning of the word. Well, once you get rid of that E at the beginning of the word, you can see how estar and a state or a condition are related words. Let's just add that E back in there. Okay, so estar is a state, condition, location. Now, one reason we kept estar as its own, oh, don't worry, we'll talk about the differences more later. Right now, let's just focus on this verb, remembering what it is. One of the reasons that we did estar all by itself earlier, when we did Spanish 1, is because it's very irregular. It doesn't follow that normal o, as, a, amos, an model. We have a few changes here. It kind of follows it, but not quite. If you want to say I am, estoy. Estoy contento. I'm content. Estás. You are. And notice, it's just like the o, as, a. It's correct there, except that we have an accent over the a. Estás. Now, we're going to use these today when we talk about location. So I'll use an example here. Hola, ¿estás en casa? Are you in-house? Are you at home? No, estoy en el trabajo. Estoy trabajando. I'm working. Estoy en el trabajo. Okay, next one. Él, ella, usted, he, she, you, está. Mamá, ¿dónde está papá? Papá está en el supermercado. Papá está en el trabajo. Papá no está aquí. He's not here. No está aquí. No sé dónde está. I don't know where he is. No sé dónde está. Okay, we are. Estamos. Estamos en la clase de español, ¿sí? Estamos contentos, ¿no? Estamos. We are. And if you want to do the vosotros estáis, but we're not doing that in here. Spaniards get mad. That's okay. Están. Last one, están. Están, they are. Los chicos están en la oficina, pero Miguel está en casa. Okay. Mi mochila, my backpack, mi mochila está en la silla. Mis libros están en la mesa. La profesora, which would it be? La profesora, she, la profesora está en la clase. Mis papeles, my papers, mis papeles están en la carpeta. No sé dónde está el libro. Okay, so those are Estar at a glance. Okay, hopefully you remember those. Key things to remember is that there's an accent on estás and an accent on están. So let's not forget those. Oh, perdón, and an accent on that. Okay? An accent on all of those except for estoy and estamos. One reason is because of the number of syllables, but we can save that for our accent lesson. Or you can hit my YouTube, if you really want to know about accents, you can hit my YouTube channel or my district website, and you can find more information on accents and why we use accents. Okay, so that's a start. Go ahead and erase this and combine it with our last thing. Actually, we've got two more little things here. No, let's just stick with this. Me and tú. Now, we've done before me with an accent for like a mí me gusta, to me it's pleasing, a mí me gusta. And we've done before tú, like tú hablas español, tú estás en clase, ¿no? Tú tienes dos libros, tú. Okay, me with an accent, tú with an accent, to me and you. However, when we don't have accents on them, they change meanings. Let's look at these. Me with no accent, my. Tú no accent, your. Mi libro está en la mesa. Tu libro está en tu mochila. Tu libro no está en la mesa. Tu libro está en la mochila. Okay, there's an example. Now, what if we want to make them plural? What if it's libros? Mis libros están en la mesa. Tus libros no están ni en la mesa ni en la mochila. Tus libros están en el pupitre. Pupitre is a word that in this book we use for like a student desk. Let's do a few other words. Mi computadora no tiene teclado. Doesn't have a keyboard. Mi computadora no tiene teclado. No funciona. Tu computadora funciona bien, ¿sí? Tú tienes una computadora buena. ¿Dónde está tu computadora? ¿Tu computadora está en la mesa? By the way, Spaniards will want to talk about ordenador, but we'll stick with computadora. What are some other words that I have this chapter that I wanted to share with you? Oh. ¿Dónde está mi iPad? Mi iPad está en el escritorio. El escritorio, like a teacher desk, a major desk, a big desk. Está encima del escritorio, on top of. Los papeles, la tarea, los libros. Let me change that. Mis papeles, tu tarea, mi iPad, todos están encima de la mesa. So that's a little bit more use of the vocab in this chapter. So to wrap up this chapter, I'm just glancing here at your review packet real quick. And if you don't know what something is, ¿qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto? What is this? So yeah, we had vocab about classroom objects, bandera, cartel, computadora, disquete. We won't talk about disquetes, those are almost obsolete. Mochila, pantalla. Hope you're thinking about these as you're hearing them. See if you can identify them all. Papelera, ratón, el ratón, reloj, sacapuntas, or el sacapuntas, el teclado, escritorio, mesa, silla, puerta, puerta, ventana, hola, ventana, al lado de, estoy aquí, al lado del señor Norton, al lado de, aquí, allí, debajo de, delante de, in front of, detrás de, behind. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde está mi mochila? ¿Dónde están mis papeles? ¿Dónde? En, encima de, we did that. De, oh, me, tú, we talked about those. Es una, ¿qué es esto? Es una computadora. I keep using computadora, sorry. We talked about estar. We've already talked about los, las, unos, and unas. Okay, that's long enough. I've kept you guys listening long enough. Hope you are all caught up on this chapter. You remember estar, you remember me, mis, tú, tus. I will mention here real quick, if you want to talk about his and hers, su libro. ¿Es mi libro? ¿Es tu libro? No, es su libro. It's her book, or his book, or belongs to usted, su and sus. And we'll do, I might as well mention it now too. Oops, not that. Nuestro. Nuestro libro, nuestra libro. That wasn't in this chapter, but it's something invaluable enough that I might as well mention it right now to you. Okay, that's it. Gracias por escuchar. We'll talk about this in class mañana. Adiós.